So today we're going to talk a bit about using Firebug to dig into your WordPress theme, and then we'll work on altering your theme. So go ahead and open Firefox, and if you don't already have it installed, search for Firebug. Firebug is a third-party extension for Firefox. It's a really, really good um, developer toolkit. If you're using Chrome, then you would usually use inspect element. Safari has a similar one, but you need to enable it in your system preferences. But we really like using Firebug just because it has a lot of nice features and its user interface is a little bit nicer than Chrome's developer tools. So we highly recommend it. Just download it and it'll install for you. And so I'm going to go to my testing site. I'm also going to go over to CyberDuck, and through there I'm going to get to my style sheet for my child theme. Alright, so I'll just open that up. If you remember back to the last time we did this, I already changed what entry titles will look like. Like I made entry titles will be courier, and then the site title is in a cursive font. But the reason that we're doing this exercise is because we want to be able to figure out what the theme looks like from a structural level. If you remember that HTML is about structure. It's about making sure that the site title will be up here, and then we have a menu, and then we have content, and in that content we have an entry title, and there's the post content, and over here's a sidebar. Really what the assignment here is to kind of dig into the 2012 theme. We're using 2012 because it's nice and clean and it's what I remember doing last year, so you're stuck with it. But the same concepts apply to any theme that you want to mess with. So what we'll do is inspect the element with Firebug. And so here we have the HTML markup. It's very clean. And right here is the inspector tool. As you can see, as you mouse over things, and you'll see that it gives you an outline. And that'll either outline a particular element, or it'll outline an entire div. So let's say this is one of the largest ones, div ID equals page. Now I want to do something to reveal what this particular div looks like. So I'll go over to my style sheet. I'm going to create a rule so that we can see the div. So as we can see, the div is the ID is page. So let's do hashtag page or #, we're not on Twitter. And let's give it maybe a border. Let's see what that does. Say it's 5 pixels dashed, and let's make it red. Let's save and let's see if that worked. And there we go. So we can see that now everything that's inside the entire page div is outlined in this nice, beautiful red dashed line. Let's go a little further. Instead of using the inspector, I'm just going to look right here in the markup and try and see if we can divine what it is. And Firebug is so nice because when you hover over things, then it'll also sort of give you, you'll see up there on the page what that div is contained of. So masthead, ID equals masthead. Header is one of these new HTML5 elements. It works kind of identical to div, but they introduced it. I believe the reasoning is that the way content on the internet is evolving is that things are usually articles, like blogging and news sites and everything have a very big emphasis on creating articles. And so usually an article will consist of a header, an article, and then a footer. And so you'll see these new elements: header, article, footer. Just know that they work essentially the same way as divs do. In fact, I'm not sure that there is any functional difference. But anyway, so we got the header right here, so let's also reveal it using CSS. Hashtag masthead. Let's give it a border 4 pixels. Let's do dotted for this one and make it purple. And there we go, that's revealed. Let's talk about another function of Firebug, is that over here you have the style elements that are affecting a particular element. So let's get rid of this so you can see what I mean. So let's refresh. So originally, masthead, these are the only styling things that are affecting it. You can turn them on and off. The lower you go, the more vague and inherited things are. But let's go ahead and put back that style rule that I just got rid of, and keep looking over here in the style pane. And you'll see that that rule that we just added is right here. So this is telling us this. And the really nice thing about Firebug, and indeed any development tool, is that it allows you to make changes to the CSS right here directly on the page. And so you can see what things are going to look like even before you do them. So I can, and another nice thing about Firebug, I know it sounds like I'm gushing here, but you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to cycle through all the options, which is really neat. So let's, that's one with a ridge, outset. That's really neat. Anyway, let's see what it looks like thicker. It keeps getting bigger. Oh no! But let's just keep it at 4 or 5. So what if we wanted to add another rule to the masthead to make it look different? Like, let's say background. We're going to make it blue. There we go, blue. Or we can make it, let's make it the same color as our green. I happen to have these hex codes on hand. Over here. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, background. There we go, we've revealed it that way. And so I know that this is going to look fine, so all you have to do really, I can just copy this entire thing. But I already got the border right there. I'll just copy it, paste it in, save it. Now when I refresh, these changes that I've made will go away. When you change something here on the page, it's only temporary. Once you refresh, it will be gone. But now that I refresh this, since I put those rules directly into the style sheet, then there they are. Let's try it with another one, and then we can kind of move on because it's getting repetitive. Or let's see what's one step down. Does the masthead, the header, does this have any major divs inside of it? I mean, here we have the nav menu, and so I'm guessing that's probably going to be in its own div. There we go, HG group, H group. Well, there's another fancy HTML5 element. Let's see if we can alter that one. Actually, let's do it over here. Maybe not. Forget about that. Nav ID. So this right here is the navigation area. So here we go, class, main navigation. And we see that here's the things that are on it right now. So what do we want to do to it? Let's change the color to, let's see what it suggests. Tomato. I didn't even know that was a color. All right. So I can just copy paste that whole thing in. So remember that the only thing that we changed was the background. So text align and margin top, these are redundant. That's already in the main style sheet, so we don't need to include them. All right, so it looks like it's taking shape. One more. What do we have here? All right, so we're done with the header group. There we go, main. Let's give it a couple of rules. ID main, so let's say let's also give it a background color. Let's say violet. And I'm also going to do this little trick. This is really neat. Border radius. You'll see what that does in a second. And we'll refresh. Isn't that neat? See, border radius gives a div these nice rounded corners. The higher the radius, the more pronounced the color. Isn't that nice? So everything inside there, but if you actually look at the markup, that there's a couple more divs inside of there, which we're not going to mess with right now because that's just retreading old water. But so there you have it. By using Firebug, you can see what the structure of your theme is like, and then you can also make changes to it as you go so that you can see what your product is going to actually look like. And this is really the only way to learn how to change the style of your WordPress website. It's incredibly useful, and just learn to use Firebug like it's your best friend.